The boundless expanse of space, an indifferent canvas against which the fleeting dramas of life unfold, had long since witnessed the ascendance of humanity and, in time, its slow, inexorable decline. Now, in the deep silence between distant stars, the remnants of a once dominant species clung to a desperate, audacious hope. A final, monumental gamble for survival. This dream was the singular obsession of Dr. Adrian Tchaikovsky, a figure of prodigious intellect, whose vision, bordering on zealotry, was dedicated to an enterprise of staggering ambition. She aimed to terraform a virgin world, a lush sanctuary designed to cradle the future of humanity, and to populate it with a new, sentient lineage, engineered not through the crude tools of genetic manipulation but by a carefully chosen selection of Earth's own diverse species, destined to be guided toward advanced sentience. Her colossal vessel, the Gilgamesh, was more than a mere conveyance. It was a cosmic ark, a crucible bearing the fragile seeds of a nascent civilization, destined for a world meticulously prepared for their flourishing. Yet, the universe, with its peculiar, often cruel, sense of humor, conspired to unravel her grand design before it could truly unfurl. Dr. Kern, her mind a relentless kaleidoscope of complex equations and biological algorithms, initiated the terraforming process from the orbital station, Brinn 2, which hung above the designated planet, a world shimmering emerald in the distant starlight. Her nanovirus, a microscopic architect of accelerated evolution, was unleashed into the pristine atmosphere, a silent, imperceptible rain. It was meticulously designed to hasten the development of the chosen species, specifically, a cargo of 10,000 primates, monkeys intended to be the architects of this new, human-like civilization. But fate, with a dark, unforeseen twist, intervened. A rogue weapon, a stray relic from humanity's terminal civil wars, tore through the Gilgamesh's accompanying station, Brinn 2, violently disrupting drive. Kern's meticulously crafted plan and scattering her ambitions into disarray. The carefully orchestrated uplift process was thrown into chaotic disarray, and the nanovirus, unguided and unleashed, began its miraculous, terrifying work upon an entirely unintended recipient. The planet's humble, multitudinous, 8-legged inhabitants. The spiders. Thus commenced an epic, millennia-spanning saga, a profound dance between two burgeoning civilizations. One, a dying ember clinging to the vestiges of its former glory. The other, a vibrant, unforeseen dawn. Their destinies, forged in the crucible of cosmic mischance, were now inextricably bound. On the verdant world below, now an expansive, uncontrolled laboratory of unintended evolution, the spiders, under the potent and pervasive influence of the nanovirus, began their astonishing transformation. From the instinctive, intricate web-spinning routines of their ancestors, their tiny minds began to blossom, their understanding expanded with each passing generation, and their rudimentary social structures grew increasingly complex. They were not merely adapting, they were evolving at an unprecedented, almost terrifying, pace. The nanovirus, an invisible, ubiquitous force, was reshaping their very essence, accelerating their neural pathways, imbuing them with a startling capacity for abstract thought, for tool-making, and, eventually, for sophisticated language. They constructed cities not of rigid stone or cold metal, but of shimmering, resilient silk, colossal structures that rose elegantly into the alien sunlight, interwoven with an organic grace and a structural strength that defied conventional engineering. Their society, initially a collection of disparate, often warring, tribes, slowly, agonizingly, coalesced into a unified, intricate civilization, a living testament to their innate adaptability and the pervasive, transformative influence of Dr. Kern's unleashed legacy. They developed complex social hierarchies, a caste system intricately defined by specialized roles. The visionary engineers who conceived and built the monumental silk cities. The meticulous scholars who painstakingly unraveled the myriad mysteries of their world, from the microscopic intricacies of their own biology to the vast, indifferent cosmos above. And the fierce, disciplined warriors who defended their burgeoning empire against both internal strife and external threats. Their evolution was not a smooth, linear progression, but a dramatic succession of profound leaps and harrowing setbacks. Generations were marked by bitter conflict, by desperate struggles for dwindling resources, and by the difficult, often violent, process of establishing their new, intricate societal norms. Their history was a vibrant, sprawling tapestry woven with luminous threads of innovation and darker strands of devastation, punctuated by both exhilarating triumphs and heart-wrenching tragedies. They developed a deep, intuitive understanding of their world, its myriad flora and fauna, its subtle rhythms and overt dangers. They learned to harness its resources with ingenious precision, crafting sophisticated devices from silk and various biological compounds. tools that would have seemed utterly impossible to their primitive, instinct-driven ancestors. Their scientific knowledge advanced with breathtaking speed, their burgeoning understanding of genetics leading them to further enhance their own species, creating specialized variants, stronger, faster, more intelligent, each meticulously tailored to a specific societal need. In time, they even began to grasp the true nature of the nanovirus, recognizing it not as a disease or a random affliction, but as a potent catalyst, an engine of their accelerated ascent, a benevolent, guiding hand in their rapid development. Meanwhile, high above, suspended in the cold, silent embrace of the void, the human arkship, the Gilgamesh, or rather, its battered, desperate remnants, drifted. Millennia passed like grains of sand through an hourglass. The initial survivors, a few precious thousand souls, huddled together within the metallic shell, their hope a flickering, fragile flame against the encroaching, suffocating darkness. They were a civilization in reverse, their once advanced technology gradually failing, its intricate systems crumbling into disrepair, their collective memories of a vibrant, living Earth fading into the hazy realm of myth and legend. Generation after generation was born, lived, and died within the confined, metallic shell, their lives a ceaseless, grinding struggle against entropy and the crushing weight of despair. Their society, under the immense pressure of diminishing resources and dwindling numbers, devolved, splintering into desperate factions, each clinging to a different, often contradictory, philosophy of survival. There were those who adhered to a strict, almost religious, interpretation of ancient protocols, the sacred texts of their long-dead ancestors. Those who embraced a more pragmatic, almost feral, existence, brutally adapting to the harsh, unforgiving realities of their shrinking resources. And then there were the desperate few, who still clung to the fading dream of the terraformed world, of a new beginning, a pristine Eden awaiting their arrival. Amidst this fading ember of humanity, a new generation of leaders, hardened by the harsh realities of their protracted voyage, began to emerge. Commander Gian, a stern, pragmatic woman with a face etched by the immense weight of her people's precarious fate, bore the heavy burden of command with grim determination. And then there was Holston, a historian, a scholar burdened by the collective, fading memory of a glorious, lost past, his mind a vast repository of ancient texts, forgotten technologies, and faded glories. He was a relentless seeker of truth, and in the decaying, dust-choked archives of the ship, he unearthed the long-forgotten logs of Dr. Avrana Kern, a name that resonated with both tantalizing promise and chilling dread. He discovered the true, audacious purpose of their journey, the grand, almost hubristic experiment, the terraforming project, and the existence of the planet below, their intended haven. The truth, however, proved to be a double-edged sword. It offered a flicker of hope, a tangible goal, but it also brought a chilling, inescapable realization. The planet was not empty. The journey of the Gilgamesh was not a static drift through the void. It was a slow, agonizing crawl towards their intended destination, a pilgrimage fraught with internal peril and external decay. They faced constant internal strife, the fabric of their society fraying under the relentless pressure. Technological breakdowns became increasingly frequent, the ship's vital systems failing one by one, and the ever-present specter of starvation gnawed at their dwindling reserves. Genetic degradation began its insidious work, the human gene pool shrinking with each successive generation, leading to increasing susceptibility to disease and a gradual, undeniable decline in their physical and mental capabilities. The society on board became increasingly ritualistic, almost religious in its desperate adherence to the fragments of the past, the tattered remnants of their original mission. The engineers, once masters of complex machinery, became priests of the dying machines, interpreting their groans and failures as divine pronouncements. The navigators, once skilled in charting cosmic courses, became mystics, divining omens from the fading star charts and the sporadic, flickering readouts. Finally, after untold generations, the Gilgamesh, a mere ghost of its former magnificent self, a derelict ark held together by sheer will and desperate ingenuity, arrived at the target planet. What they found, however, was not the pristine, untouched world they had so long imagined, the blank canvas for humanity's rebirth. It was a world teeming with vibrant, intelligent life, a world dominated by monumental structures of shimmering silk and a pulsating, undeniable intelligent presence that emanated from the surface below. The human survivors, their numbers dwindled to a mere fraction of the original complement, gazed upon this alien vista with a profound mixture of awe and profound fear. They were not alone, and the inhabitants of this world were not the primates' drive Kern had intended to uplift. They were spiders. The initial encounters between these two vastly different civilizations were fraught with fear, misunderstanding, and the brutal collision of divergent evolutionary paths. The humans, seeing colossal, multi-limbed arachnids, immediately envisioned monsters, primal threats to their very existence. The spiders, observing strange, hairless bipedal creatures emerging from a monstrous metallic shell in the sky, saw intruders, a new, potentially devastating predator from the vast, unknown reaches of the void. Each side, in their own unique way, was a product of their distinct evolutionary histories, their perspectives profoundly shaped by their respective struggles for survival and their deeply ingrained fears. The spiders, having faced numerous internal conflicts, bitter interspecies wars, and external threats throughout their accelerated history, were inherently wary, their society meticulously designed for efficient defense and optimal resource management. They had developed a collective consciousness, a vast, intricate network of shared thought and communication that transcended individual minds, allowing for instantaneous decision-making, unparalleled coordination, and astonishing levels of cooperation. As the Gilgamesh tentatively attempted to establish contact, the spiders, with their rapidly enhanced intellects, perceived the human vessel not as a lifeline, but as a direct, undeniable threat. They interpreted its movements and transmissions as aggressive incursions, a rogue asteroid, perhaps, or a new, dangerous predator from the dark abyss of space. Their defensive mechanisms, honed over millennia of evolutionary struggle and internal strife, sprang into action with terrifying efficiency. They deployed their own nascent spacefaring technology, self-replicating drones intricately woven from hardened silk, designed to intercept and neutralize any perceived threat. The first attempts at communication by the humans, desperate and clumsy, were met with these swift, decisive defensive measures, leading to rapidly escalating tensions and a growing sense of dread and despair on both sides. Holston, with his profound historical insights and his access to Dr. Kern's original logs, began to grasp the terrifying, ironic truth of their predicament. The very nanovirus, unleashed by his human ancestors, had, by a twist of fate, created this new, formidable civilization. He saw the shimmering threads of Dr. Kern's ambitious dream woven into the very fabric of the spiders' world, their silk cities, their intricate societal structures. He recognized their advanced technology, their complex social organization, and their clear, undeniable intelligence. He became an impassioned advocate for understanding, a solitary voice of reason amidst the growing panic and militaristic fervor that gripped the human survivors. Gian, while initially wary and consumed by the immediate need for human survival, was pragmatic enough to recognize the profound potential for both catastrophic annihilation and an unprecedented alliance. The narrative then plunges into the rich, complex tapestry of the spider civilization, offering a deeply immersive perspective on their unique culture and their accelerated evolution. We are introduced to Portia, a brilliant, innovative spider, whose insatiable curiosity and scientific drive often override her species' ingrained caution. She is a visionary scientist, a master engineer, a pragmatic leader, and ultimately, a pivotal figure in the spider's understanding of the strange, metallic vessel that hangs ominously in their sky. She, along with other key figures like Bianca, a skilled architect responsible for designing the intricate, multi-layered silk cities, and Fabian, a shrewd, strategic military mind, represents the pinnacle of their highly evolved civilization. They possess a profound sense of lineage, their collective memories passed down through countless generations, creating a vast, communal wisdom that informs their every decision. They have their own legendary heroes, their own intricate myths, their own deeply embedded moral codes. They engage in profound philosophical debates, discuss the very nature of consciousness, and ponder their place in the grand, indifferent scheme of the universe. The story highlights several key moments that define the spider's extraordinary evolutionary journey. There is the development of their advanced optical lenses, allowing them to peer into the microscopic world with astonishing detail and to chart the distant cosmos with scientific precision. There is their remarkable mastery of genetic engineering, which they utilize to create specialized spider breeds, each with unique, highly adapted abilities, from colossal construction workers capable of lifting immense loads to nimble scouts capable of traversing treacherous terrain with unparalleled speed and agility. There are also moments of profound internal conflict, as different factions within their complex society engage in passionate debates about the best path forward, particularly in response to the inexplicable arrival of the mysterious angels from above. They learn, they adapt, and they overcome challenges with a terrifying efficiency and a burgeoning, almost divine, sense of collective destiny. The escalating conflict between humans and spiders is not one of pure malice or inherent aggression, but rather a tragic consequence of profound misunderstanding and the deep-seated fears of two disparate species struggling for survival. Each side projects its own ingrained fears and preconceived assumptions onto the other. The humans, desperate for a new home, a sanctuary to rebuild their shattered civilization, initially perceive the spiders as a mere obstacle, a primitive, unthinking life form to be removed or, at best, controlled. The spiders, fiercely protective of their vibrant, hard-won world, see the humans as dangerous invaders, a potential existential threat to their very way of life, perhaps even to their existence. There are skirmishes, near battles, and moments of intense, suffocating tension, each side probing the other, testing their defenses, seeking weakness. One pivotal, almost catastrophic, event involves the humans' desperate attempt to deploy a reboot mechanism, a highly destructive device designed to reverse the nanovirus's effects and, in their minds, reset the planet to its pristine, intended state for human colonization. This act, born of utter desperation and a profound ignorance of the spider's complex civilization, is perceived by the arachnid inhabitants as a direct, unprovoked assault on their very existence, a genocidal act. It ignites a fierce, unified defensive response from the spiders, showcasing their incredible ingenuity, their collective will to survive, and their astonishing ability to rapidly mobilize against a perceived threat. Portia, utilizing her keen scientific acumen and her deep understanding of the nanovirus, recognizes the insidious nature of the threat and mobilizes her entire people, uniting them in a collective effort to counteract it. Eventually, through a series of desperate, perilous maneuvers and the persistent, unwavering efforts of courageous individuals like Holston and Portia, a fragile, tenuous line of communication is finally established. Holston, meticulously analyzing the knowledge gleaned from Dr. Kern's long-lost logs, begins to unravel the astonishing complexity of the spider's intelligence and their unique modes of perception. Portia, driven by an insatiable scientific curiosity that transcends species boundaries, slowly, cautiously overcomes her ingrained fear of the angels, and begins to perceive them not as mindless invaders or destructive entities, but as another intelligent species, albeit one unimaginably different from her own. The narrative then builds towards a profound, almost inevitable, climax where both species, facing a common, existential threat, the encroaching emptiness of space, the dying sun, and the eventual, unavoidable demise of both their respective homes, realize, with a chilling clarity, that their ultimate survival hinges entirely on cooperation. They must bridge the vast, seemingly insurmountable chasm of misunderstanding and find a way to coexist, to combine their disparate strengths. The spiders, with their unparalleled mastery of genetic engineering and their astounding, virally accelerated evolutionary adaptability, offer the promise of physical resilience, allowing for long-term survival in the harshest, most unforgiving environments. The humans, with their dwindling yet still vast store of accumulated scientific knowledge, their unique historical perspective on the universe, and their fragmented yet profound understanding of advanced technologies, offer insights and solutions that the spiders, even with their accelerated development, might not have discovered on their own. Dr. Kern, now existing as a preserved, digital consciousness within the Gilgamesh's intricate systems, a spectral intelligence lingering beyond her physical demise, becomes a crucial, albeit complex and often unsettling, figure in this burgeoning rapprochement. Her original ambition, once so meticulously crafted and then so tragically twisted by unforeseen circumstances, now ironically serves as the ultimate catalyst for a new, unexpected, and profound synthesis of life and intelligence. Her ghost, a disembodied echo of her formidable intellect, guides both species, providing invaluable historical context, crucial technical knowledge, and philosophical insights that prove indispensable in their desperate, collaborative efforts. She is the living, breathing, or rather, simulating, link between their past and their potential future. The novel concludes not with a simple, decisive victory, but with a profound, almost spiritual, transformation. A new, hybrid civilization emerges, a testament to the unpredictable, yet ultimately hopeful, nature of evolution and the boundless possibilities of interspecies cooperation. They are no longer simply humans or merely spiders, but something entirely new, a symbiotic species, forged in the crucible of shared adversity, carrying the torch of intelligence and life into the vast, unknown cosmos. The Gilgamesh, once a tomb for a dying species, is reborn as a cradle for a new, unified lineage, and the Emerald Planet below, no longer just a destination for desperate refugees, becomes a vibrant springboard for a shared, unimaginable future. The narrative ends with a sense of boundless possibility, a sprawling, hopeful vision of a universe where life, in its infinite, varied forms, can always find a way to adapt, to evolve, and to connect, even across the most unimaginable divides, embarking on a grand new odyssey among the stars.